The put call ratio. It sounds like Janet Yellen and some other insiders are buying piles of calls, on things like Microsoft and Apple. And yeah, you can see right here the calls just went pretty bullish. What am I on dailies? Yeah, so when you see the put call ratio going positive, that's generally bullish. It's just when you get to an extreme, like this was our peak in February, and this was our peak. You can see how thick the volume is here. That was our peak in October, and then this was our flip over in March. So this call buying is probably bullish. Just one indicator. I wanted to look at the VIX, and please like, share, comment, subscribe. We'll take a look at the S&P in a minute and the battle for the 41. We're battling for the 41. But let me go check out the. He's just been coiling on the S&P for a while, but so we did actually put in a little green on the VIX on this last down move. So this is interesting, and it's hard to tell where the VIX wants to go, but check this out. This is the VVIX, which is the volatility of the VIX itself. The VVIX just came down to pre-pandemic levels. It just collapsed. And this doesn't mean the stock market is bullish. This just means that the VIX is going to be less volatile, which means it probably won't crash or spike, either one, anytime really soon. So it looks like the VIX to me will probably just do some boring stuff. And so the VIX probably won't be a very good indicator probably for a month or so, which is probably a good thing. But let me go. I have the best VIX chart ever. Let me show you what the VIX does. Nobody else has a VIX chart this awesome. But usually the VIX will chill down a channel. It'll just kind of chill down, and then it'll pop up to the next channel. Sometimes, like this is actually a pretty good one here, where it went up 2, right, and it just came and chilled down. And then we popped up one channel, come down, popped up one channel, come down. And then in COVID, we popped up 2 channels and came down. Right now, we've just gone up 2 channels. So we are building this kind of up move, which means we could get a spike in volatility, but we haven't come to the line yet. Like when we come to this line, maybe we'll get a spike and a crash, or maybe we'll just chill down this channel or this one. But most likely, the VIX usually only likes to go up one channel at a time. So the bullish case is this channel here. But in any case, the VVIX is way down, so the VIX should be less volatile. I've seen a lot of people looking at the VIX as a leading indicator, and it did sort of lead on that bottoming thing. Like the VIX started coming down early before that bottoming reversal, which is probably was bullish, and now I think it's just a weak indicator. But let's go. Oh, there was one bearish one. What, high yield, right? Okay, so this is corporate bonds, and we just had a bearish turn down on these are the high yield corporate bonds off the downtrend here. So this is a bearish indicator. You want to see this break out that way. In the case of a bull breakout, this needs to break out. And this is one little tap, but it's definitely a bearish tap on this chart. So this is a good one to look at. But you can see COVID was too crazy to take a look at, but the last 2 pullbacks that we had was this was the 2016 Euro-dollar crisis. We can see how it turned down, and then as soon as we broke out, we're back into the bull market. And this is the 2018 crash here. Volmageddon was just this little guy. But you can see the same kind of thing. You pull down away from the line and you break it, and then you go bullish. And this one, I mean, I guess if you like that, it pulled back and then it broke it. But anyway, this is one to watch. We've pulled back a little bit, and it's not clear if it wants to break out or not. So this is a good leading indicator for the market turning down. Like sometimes this one will move early, and you can get a little bit of a leading indicator. Yeah, we're right at 401 or 441. I mean, on the S&P. So let's go back and look at just the whole shape again. So this red line is where we are at the 41. It's a huge, huge critical level. If we fail here, it is not a good thing. If we go bullish here, it is pretty strong because we just jumped on top of this giant cone. This is our megaphone from COVID. We jumped on top. And so this is bringing us into what I think is a topping area. And what does it look like? It just threw another tail, it looks like. And it's just early trading, so it's hard to see what it's doing. But we're just around the 41. And, we jumped off this downtrend, right? So we've been building this downtrend. And everyone's focusing on the downtrend, but nobody's focusing on the uptrend that we started building halfway. This peak here is important because I'm painting a way too early topping pattern this direction. And I mean, this is my call. I know I think most people are saying we're going to just make a new low right now. That's an easy call because I'm not saying it's a correct call, but it's an easy call to make when everyone's bearish. You just expect it to go down. And some people are saying we're going to pull down and then go up and make a higher bottom, and that's possible. And then anyone that's saying it's bullish is saying like we'll go up but not very far and then we'll turn down. I haven't seen anyone else make this call. I think we're going way the freak up here. And it's very bold and it's very early to make this call, but I have a megaphone topping pattern that I'm looking for on this chart because this is the pattern that I saw in the Great Depression. It's the pattern I saw in GameStop, and it looks like we're setting it up. So I just wanted to draw the pattern out, just so if we start doing crazy stuff, you have an idea of what might be going on. I think a more sane look at this thing, if you're getting bullish, based on the put calls or any of these other indicators, I've seen like the McClellan oscillator looks super bullish, or just the shape of the IWM looks like bullish money flow too. We can look at that in a second. But there's sort of a downtrend that a lot of people are drawing and saying like that's as high as we'll probably go. And I actually think getting into this area is more likely if we're going to start flagging around again, because it's just an area we should coil. I mean, I could see a bunch of crazy volatility like this on the way up, but if you look at the shape of these up moves that you get off a downtrend like this, you kind of grind down, and then you pop up, you grind down, and then you pop up, right? You grind down, and then it's just one coil, but it looks like a coil on like a pretty strong pop to me. So yeah, I think we're gonna pop. And let me look at the IWM and see. IWM kind of gives you a good shape of like more nonsense money flow. There's financials and small caps in here, and you can see this is an uphill W, and it's a pretty bullish looking coil on the IWM. The Nasdaq did a downhill thing, and it's doing a droopy coil. So the Nasdaq looks a little weaker than the IWM, which should favor things that are in the Russell, like AMC and GameStop. Probably are probably in a stronger index than the IWM. I mean, than the Nasdaq for this week. But that's just sort of leading into an up move, and then you can see kind of where it goes from there. But yeah, speaking of, let's look at GameStop, because GameStop is the first thing that did a big volatile up move. Like almost everything did an up move, back here on whatever it was, the 20, well, really like the 26th, things kind of popped. GameStop moved early and it made a bigger move. So I wanted to let's go into the 1 minute and take a look at GameStop. Take a look at this flag. It looks like a bull flag. Is 1 minute too aggressive? Yeah, let's do hourlies. Alright, so here's our flag on GameStop. Right, and it looks like we just flagged. It looks like we completed a bull flag, right, and jumped on top of the downtrend already. So, yeah, today if we get a big up move on GameStop, like that would be a huge indicator that the whole market wants to go. That's like the Russell is sort of leading the money flow, and GameStop is sort of the leading meme stock in the Russell. So I think this is a good thing to look at to kind of see the money flow of GameStop moves. And this looks like, well, the last 3 trading days looked like a spot where GameStop could take off. Today does too, and it looks like it's getting it's too early to know where it's going yet because it's just volatile on open. But anyway, GameStop as a leading indicator. It's kind of silly, but I think that it's actually a really good leading indicator for this move. And then AMC is just flopping around. Not super bullish looking yet, but it did get a pretty peaky, like running looking thing here. So I think there's juice in AMC, but I don't think it'll lead. Like AMC will probably follow GameStop. Like, that's what it likes to do. And what Tesla's NAS, and it's kind of, yeah, maybe doing a triple bottom, like a bat tail looking thing. So things look like they're in the position where they could go up, but it's still fighting against bearish momentum and all of that. I wanted to look at what oil. Yeah, let me go back to hours or days. I'm sorry. This stupid oil chart. When you have it on the auto adjust like that, that spike it did around COVID is like a minus 30 on the oil futures. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna take auto off because oil can't handle it. But we have this general bull trend on oil after we climbed out of the minus 30 area, and this flat around 64 is a bunch of previous tops here that we jumped on top of this. It likes this area a lot around 65, and then this is like 147. This is the all-time high on oil, and that's where we were in, it was like 2000, I think we were up there. 2008 is where we peaked, right before the financial crisis. Oil got all the way up to 147. So we're testing that huge high. Well, not testing it yet, but we're getting close to it. And I think we have this sort of breakout pattern here. So it looks like we just tested our previous top, jumped on top of it, and we're climbing back on top of the trend, bull flag breakout. It looks like this is going to climb, but this kind of pattern is likely to have a blow off top, and we might even go above this level, but this is getting super volatile, and it's like tried to break down, and now it's looks like oil is going to go up, but maybe have a blow off top. So this is an interesting thing to look at too, in terms of like when we might have like a surprise crash, might time with a blow off top in oil, which could be another month or two. So it looks like we have, yeah, I don't know. I was putting like the 15th of July as a best guess on sort of the time, like just timing the market thing. It just looks like the right amount of time that we have to do a bull run, but how high we go on the bull run, I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of the general idea. I still have the same general idea. Oh no, we're losing the 41. Is it getting dramatic? Let's go back into like a 1 minute on the S&P and check out the shape of this thing. Wait, this is not any of the right shapes. Wait, what is going on here? What happened? All my lines are like broken or something? This is hourly. Okay. Yeah, you can see the general idea here. Like this red line is the top of the megaphone from COVID, and we jumped on top of it and kind of broke that downtrend. Now we're jumping on top of this downtrend. So that actually looks very similar to GameStop, like downtrend, two taps down on top of it. I don't know. It's just holding. It's holding for now, and most of the stuff is still looking bullish. And I think the big insider pump into call options is probably bullish. Um, yeah, and I think probably like June 15th. I don't know. That's the general idea. We'll see if this holds today. It'll probably start rallying today or tomorrow. And yeah, today maybe. None of this is investment advice, obviously, but today might be a good day for some day trading kind of stuff on GameStop or like weekly call options or something. It looks like GameStop might lead a move. Yeah, all right. That's probably the general idea. There's a few other stocks that look like they've been kind of popping with the market or taking a similar kind of an uphill bounce. I think I'll do it on the dailies, so you can kind of see the patterns on some of these. I mean, we've had like some bearish moves on, well, everything obviously, but there's a lot of things, like QuantumScape is not in the Nasdaq, and it's doing a little uphill bounce. That's kind of weak. And then, yeah, the Nasdaq looks like it's getting flows. So it seems like the things in the Nasdaq are gonna move sort of reliably, and the things that aren't are gonna be sporadic. But we have this similar kind of breakout of a downtrend across a bunch of charts. Like cost is sort of a similar to like AMD. It was like one of the meme stocks I was moving with GameStop and an AMC last time. But this one is in the Nasdaq, and it's headphones. That one. Oh, and in terms of Bitcoin, MicroStrategy is the only chart I can find related to Bitcoin that's making a bullish move. It did an uphill W, and the whole uphill W kind of bullish shape, and it's pretty steep actually. It's kind of like this angle, um, and that doesn't look awesome this morning, but this one is the only thing that looks good across the Bitcoin charts. Let me look at Bitcoin real quick. Because Bitcoin just looks like it's doing some boring stuff. I mean, it just looks like a super lame bear flag. It does not look good, and it doesn't look like it has much time until it runs into the wall here. And if we're talking about the 15th of July, it might be doing a little false breakout and coming down. I think this is just gonna bear flag and then start coming down. Like I think when GameStop, or not GameStop, when Bitcoin starts coming down, the market is probably going to be in trouble, and I think Bitcoin might lead the next move down. I think Bitcoin might lead the next move down, but I think it's going to be lame until then. But we'll see. Oh man, I'm not interested in trading Bitcoin this week, that's for sure. We'll see if it breaks out. I kind of have a topping area around 50-ish or something. That's like the max I think it could run if it does pop. But I have this descending wedge idea. That's a little way too early of a call, but this is what it looks like it's doing right now. It's just doing a bear flag, and then the next move down could be pretty ugly, because Bitcoin has a habit of crossing wedges to the downside and like stabbing, and it could go like to 10 or even below if it did that pattern. It's done this many times where it picks up a down move and then crosses the wedge to the downside. Picks up a down move, crosses to the downside. Um, yeah, so I have probably a more bullish view on Bitcoin than almost anyone, and at the same time, I have a more bullish view on the market short term. Like I think we're gonna rally higher than everyone thinks to an all-time high in that like now. Yeah, I'm still calling for that, even though this is looking scary. It doesn't look particularly scary to me this morning. Um, yeah, I'm still calling for all that crazy stuff. So just so you have an idea, kind of what I'm thinking, so you have a different view probably than most everyone else. I know a lot of people are just they're freaking out and talking about recession and war and blah 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 blah. But what I'm seeing is I think the war is just about over. And talking about the war, like America's allowing Venezuela to trade oil with Europe. They're asking the Saudi Arabians to increase oil production. Russia's pretty much already taken all the territory that they want, I think. I don't think they're trying to take the whole country. They just want the natural gas areas, the coastline, and the grain area. And I think that they already have all of that under control. So I think Russia would be happy probably to just like make a peace treaty at this point. Um, it seems like they've taken control of the areas they want to control, and they're just destroying any new weapons coming into the country, probably until there's a treaty. That's what it looks like is happening. So I think that war could be over pretty soon, and I think there's going to be a couple of border shifts. Like I think Ukraine is going to get split, like split in half or something. Um, yeah. Anyway, that affects oil a lot, and probably natural gas more than oil. Like oil could come down. Yeah, I mean, especially if Venezuela is allowed to trade and the Saudis increase production and Russia comes back online with oil, like oil could make a pretty big down move if all of those things happen at the same time. And that, yeah, I don't know. Oil correlating with the general market is tricky. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but let's look at some like materials. Let's go back to dailies. Let's look at some materials because China's coming back online now, and material stocks will love that. And these are the stocks that I really held up during the huge down move. The material stocks really didn't pull down. I mean, they didn't. They came down a little bit, and they were sort of a leading sector during the crash. But these are interesting too. Like it looks like we're gonna get moves in the Nasdaq and stuff like that again now. And maybe these will trail now. But they led on the way down, which is interesting, and they held at this level. And there's some things like uranium, FCX is copper, China loves copper. Like, this should do well if China is coming back on. Alco is aluminum, and then AG is silver mining. So these are a few different ideas on materials and minerals that led for a minute, but it looks like the Nasdaq might lead now on the IWM. So that's kind of what I think we're doing, and it's about a month. It's about a 1 month-ish kind of bullish kind of idea that I have just for now. But again, this topping pattern is not a bullish topping pattern. It's a highly volatile mess of a topping pattern. We're getting an expanding megaphone shape. And I'm calling for an up move that will surprise everybody, and then a down move that could likely break this area again and we can pick up our last tap here and go to the top of the bubble, which could be an absurd number around 7,000 or something crazy. I know this is a nutty looking call, but this is the pattern that I think is developing. So we'll see if it does. In any case, I wanted to paint that pattern and just show the idea. And like 7,000 on the S&P is sounds kind of nutty, but I think like the Nikkei, if you do percentage comparisons between the S&P and like when the Nikkei blew off, it was in the 80s or whatever, or the 90s. The Nikkei, I think if you put those percentages on the S&P, it would be more like 9,000 on the S&P. So it's actually a smaller bubble than that. So it's not too crazy to look at a top like that. Yeah, and I gotta look at Eurodollar futures, right? This is the huge inflation indicator where everyone's just wrong on inflation. They have been the whole time. Um, One thing about inflation, prices going up is not the same thing as inflation. Inflation is the number of dollars going up. It's a indicator of the amount of currency units, the number of currency units. And right now, the currency units did go up, just not very much, and they stopped going up. And it looks like we bottomed, and it looks like that this is actually going to be another monetary contraction. And this is the same kind of time scale. Like you see, well, actually, if I'm looking at just like July, it would be more like here. We'd start coming down again. So this is an important chart to watch. But if there was real inflation, like the 60s and 70s, you would see this chart breaking out. And it's not doing that. And so the whole inflation story it's not monetary inflation. The number of currency units, the number of dollars in the world is not going up in an inflationary manner at all. It's just not doing it. But what we did have is a supply crunch during COVID. Then we had a huge surge of demand, and it pushed prices up. And now that demand has come down, but now we have an oil shortage. It's like a different kind of supply crunch, which is pushing prices up now. And so we might see that reverse soon as well. If we have Venezuela and Saudis and this war with Russia ends, oil supply might come on, and we might have a big reversal in that supply shortage as well. And then we don't have any supply shortages. Then we're going to have piles of excess stuff at Walmart and Target. And then we'll also have excess supply of oil, or at least normal supplies of oil. And so the whole story about why prices are up will be reversed, and we'll see what actually happens. And we might get those reversed, and then we might get monetary deflation, and we might have an actual deflation scare, which would be pretty funny after everyone talking about inflation for like 2 straight years. This year we might get a deflationary scare where people are scared of negative interest rates and stuff like that. Um, Calling that a little bit early, but this is kind of the pattern that would line up with that. If you want to look at Eurodollar's international bond trading as a very good indicator of inflation, of actual inflation, monetary inflation. So yeah, anyway, that's a lot of the things. Still battling at the top of the megaphone at the 41. Let's go back to the 1 minute and see what's happening. Alright, the 1 minute was too aggressive. We consolidated sideways for a whole week. So yeah, it just looks like it's holding. I'm still bullish on this. I think today is the day that we rally it. We rally it up, and maybe just maybe GameStop leads with a big flagpole. That's my idea for today. And I already positioned. I'm tempted to trade short, like just weekly call options or something, but I'll just hold my stuff. I have safer safer calls, but I do have a pile of GameStop calls that I got on this breakout. So I'm definitely interested to see if we get a flagpole on GME. Anyway, that's a lot, and that's enough. So have fun with the trading this week. It's crazy. I think we're going to get a big move again soon. Anyway, I'm obviously calling a bullish move from right here, but this consolidation I think is ending right now. Cheers.